Breathing. We all do it. But why? All of our cells in our body need oxygen to function. However, they also have to get rid of all the carbon dioxide that they produce. Breathing occurs so that oxygen from the air can be brought to your cells and to get rid of the carbon dioxide, or in other words, breathing out. But how is it transported to the whole body? Blood is a fluid inside your body which transports nutrients and materials to and from your cells. It brings oxygen to all your cells and collects carbon dioxide from your cells. Blood contains different components. The main component is red blood cells or RBCs. The RBCs carry oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body and carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. Red blood cells have something in them called hemoglobin. This protein combines with oxygen in a place where there is a high concentration of oxygen to make oxyhemoglobin, making it very unstable. Then in turn, when it reaches a place where there is a low concentration of oxygen, it releases oxygen because it is unstable. The journey begins in the aorta. The aorta is the largest artery in the body and is above the left ventricle. As the RBC here contains oxygen, it is pumped into one of the 1,000 cells which brings it to any of the organs. When it reaches an organ with a low concentration of oxygen, the oxygen inside it moves through diffusion from a high concentration, the RBC, to a low concentration, the organ. So, on releasing oxygen, the RBC deoxygenates itself. On working, the muscle produces carbon dioxide, which is absorbed by this RBC. The now deoxygenated RBC moves towards the right heart in a vein. It has reached the vena cava. It then enters the right atrium and further pumped into the right ventricle. The muscle of the walls of the atria and the ventricle pushes it through the pulmonary artery towards the lungs. As it has a low concentration of oxygen and the lungs have a high concentration, diffusion takes place and it gets oxygenated from the lungs. The carbon dioxide inside red blood cell is released back to the lungs and breathed out. Now it goes back to the pulmonary vein and enters the left side of the heart. It then enters the left atrium and now the left ventricle and then pumped back into the aorta, where the cycle starts again.
All humans on the planet rely on their circulatory and nervous systems to live every day.
The journey of blood through the human body starts at the alveoli in the lungs. Here, blood picks up oxygen inhaled and then travels to the heart.
Here in the heart, oxygenated blood is pumped through the left ventricle and atrium into arteries that will carry it around the body. Now, oxygenated blood must begin its journey through blood vessels spanning the whole body. This journey covers a distance of over 9,000 times the height of Mount Everest. The largest blood vessels responsible for carrying oxygenated blood are known as arteries. Smaller canals called arterioles branch off from arteries. Capillaries, which can be tens of thousands of times smaller than arteries, are the smallest blood vessels. Their thin-end arterial walls allow oxygen to pass through to supply surrounding body cells. Now, the oxygenated blood must make the return trip back to the heart through the veins. blue diagrams, veins are usually portrayed as blue. However, the blood in veins is just as red as that of the arteries. Eventually, the blood makes its way through the veins back to the heart. Here, it is pumped through the right ventricle to the lungs, where it picks up more oxygen. Blood itself is made up of cells which float in a liquid called plasma. Plasma is made of 95% water, with dissolved proteins, electrolytes, hormones, glucose, and carbon dioxide. Blood cells include mostly red blood cells, leukocytes, and platelets. Red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen to body cells. Their red coloring is attributed to the protein hemoglobin. Leukocytes are responsible for fighting off foreign cells and matter. Platelets are fragments of megakaryotes and can form clots to heal injuries. The circulatory system is responsible for transporting materials, principally oxygen, throughout the body. The nervous system, on the other hand, is responsible for maintaining life functions, moving the body, and receiving input from the outside world. The nervous system is a complex collection of nerves and specialized cells known as neurons that transmit signals between different parts of the body. The nervous system has two components, the central and peripheral systems. The central nervous system is made up of the brain, spinal cord and nerves. The brain regulates all body operations and receives and responds to factors from the outside world. Parts of the brain have different functions that operate certain organs. Some parts control blood pressure and heartbeat, processes of the circulatory system. Others control muscle movement. The spinal cord is a long column of nerve cells that extends through the whole backbone. It acts as the primary interface of information and signals between the brain and the body. The outer part of the spinal cord is made of white matter, while the inner part is called gray matter. Certain nerve fibers relay sensory data to the brain, while others carry out commands to the muscles. The somatic nervous system is in charge of this movement of skeletal muscles. The autonomous nervous system regulates internal conditions. The sympathetic division stimulates processes, while the parasympathetic division reduces them. The autonomous nervous system regulates blood flow and pressure, heartbeat, and direction of blood flow. How are the two systems, circulatory and nervous, connected? The circulatory system pumps blood to the brain, providing it with nutrients and oxygen, and removing carbon dioxide. In turn, the brain sends the signals through the autonomous nervous system to the heart to pump this blood. Like any complex machine, these two systems are prone to failure and faulty functioning. For example, hypertension or high blood pressure occurs when resistance to flowing blood increases. This can lead to heart attacks or strokes. On the opposite extreme, hypertension or low blood pressure occurs when the heart is not strong enough to pump blood to all the organs. This can lead to organ failure and brain damage. In the nervous system, a concussion is a loss of consciousness due to an injury to the head. It can result in nausea, headache, confusion, and memory loss. Some research shows that repetitive concussions can lead to long-term brain problems. The circulatory and nervous systems work together to control and collect, to transport and observe, to stay alive, and they repeat their job every single